What is up, everyone? Hope you're doing well. My name is Ishan, and welcome to the video. I've been making a lot of content for my other channel, Spiritualish, which is my other identity where I focus on self exploration activities. But then there's the scientist side of me, Scientish, and I haven't made Scientish videos recently. And fuck that topic. That can be saved for another video. And I have been working with Purdue folks, where I'm getting my PhD in planetary sciences to make short form content for Instagram and YouTube, but currently it's just on their channel. So I have to figure out how the collaboration works on YouTube, so I can get those on mine as well. But if you want to watch those videos, you can go to my Instagram at scientish, in the same as this channel name, whatever. But I recorded a lot of long form content for my other channel, and I was like, yo, I don't need to constrain myself to making videos for scientists with just papers or just like science content or learning things. Like, I can include my personal experiences. I can make this like a blog, or you know what I'm saying. Like, I can try to make this into a conversational video as well. Like, it doesn't have to be just science, because yo, let me tell you, man, I feel like this is my personal opinion, not affiliated with anything. A lot of the times, man, even some of the scientists are too technical for me, and I think it's a great skill to be able to talk science, but it's a completely different skill to be able to translate that language of wonder for people who are not in the sciences. And that's honestly that is one of my goals. That is one of my long-term goals. I do want to bridge that gap, and I want to explain how science is the modern language that we use to explain things that make sense around us, but science hasn't caught up entirely to mystic stuff just yet. But I'd cover that in spiritualish instead of scientish. Let me stick to the science. Let me stick to the science stuff. But yeah, so I've been thinking. I'm like, yo, I can come up with not just papers and research and whatever. I can also come up with conversational style videos like these where I talk about my experiences, and I've already had a lot of ideas. I can talk about my grad school application process, fellowship applications that I've been filling out. Yeah, I wrote all these down a few days ago, and then my experiences with conferences and such. And it's a great way for me to document my journey. It's a great way for me to look back to things and see, wow, like I've grown a lot. And let's get into it, because last week, from Tuesday through Friday, I was in Louisville, Kentucky, for a science conference called Exoplanets in Our Backyard 3. 3 because it was the third time that they convened. There were 2 times in the past that they've arranged the conference, and exoplanets. I mean, it was focused on exoplanet stuff, but overall, it was generally focused on space sciences research and how you can use different tools and techniques in order to help the exoplanet community to further their research. And if you don't know, an exoplanet is just a planet that orbits a star that's outside of our solar system. And one of the big things that the exoplanet community focuses on, or in my perception does focus on, is trying to find habitable worlds outside of our solar system. So whenever there's a lot of talk about exoplanets, they're trying to figure out Earth-like planets or similar things that could potentially host life. Or maybe it's just because I'm biased and I think of life outside of Earth at all times, and that's why I'm seeing it that way. So if there's any exoplanet folks watching the video, let me know in the comments below if I'm right or wrong. But yeah, that conference was relatively small, maybe 100-ish about people, maybe a little bit more. But yeah, no, that's a relatively small conference compared to the ones that I've been in the past. I've been to American Geophysical Union fall meeting in 2020, AGU, that's like one of the biggest conferences in North America. And then I've been to LPSC, which is the Lunar and Planetary Science Conference. That was 2022. So 2020, 2022, and then now Exoplanets in Our Backyard 2024. Wow, frequency been every 2 years. And to be honest, I didn't know that it's unusual for undergraduates to go to conferences, but I went to two during my my career. So I guess I was doing something right. Now I was working hard. I was working hard. I was working hard at the time. But yeah, the conference was absolutely amazing. There's a few key aspects to focus on if you're preparing for a science conference that your advisor will probably tell you about, or you learn about it in class, or you just pick up on things as you go, like me, because no one was there to tell me what to do until I got into grad school. But like the past two conferences that I went to, um, I had minimal guidance. It wasn't like someone was guiding me through every step of the way type shit. So there's a few things to keep in mind. You know, the general structure is, depending on the size of the conference, really, there's going to be a specific amount of sessions. So there's certain, and these sessions are grouped in a broad topic, and then under that there's like sub-specific things where specific folks are invited to give talks on their current research that fits that field. And the talks can range anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes depending on what session it is and which conference it is. So yeah, maybe let me just talk about this specific conference. So something that's more of a small to medium size, I would say, in my experience so far. We had, over the span of 3 days, we had about four-ish different sessions, and about four speakers in each session. So that's about 16 people, and about 20-ish minutes, I think, talks with time for questions in the end, as a panel. And there were also some poster presentations, which is what I was presenting. A lot of the times when you apply for a conference, you'll either apply for an oral talk or you're going to apply for a poster presentation, depending on the type of results that you have and depending on how well suited your results might be for one or the other. So I'm gonna save the past conferences experiences for another time, but yeah, for this one, the one last week in Exoplanets in Your Backyard, I had a poster presentation. But since I've just started my research, I didn't really have results to share, so it was more of methods development and what I've been doing so far and what my plan is. And even so, it's a really great way, or it's a really great thing that I got to do that, because one of the key things, and if you're gonna get anything out of this video, it's this point: networking. Network. That's one of the biggest things that the conference is supposed to be for, because you don't know when a connection is going to pan out in the future. I could give a few instances of mine from the past where someone I met at a conference ended up being a person that I connected with later on, and they guided me towards an opportunity, or connected me with someone that I'm now working with. So it's very nuanced, and you really don't know who you meet that will make a difference in your life down the line. So be open to networking, be open to making new friends there, even if your research doesn't align with them. Like, it doesn't fucking matter, bro. Like, put yourself out there, meet new people, and your network is your net worth, which is something that they don't emphasize this shit in the sciences enough, in my experience. And I come from industry. I've worked in industry before. I worked weird jobs before. I worked at a bank. I worked at the largest healthcare tech company in the U.S. Network is your network is your net worth, and the people that you know really matters a lot over the course of time. I've come to realize that. And luckily, I had my sister when I was in high school who taught me that, and so I always try to make connections. But in the more recent years, I've been making more of an effort to do so. And this is not to say that you have to be friends with everyone, or meet every single person, but you should try to network and meet with the people that do align with your interests, or people that you just get along with. So that's one of the most important things, networking, and I got to do that. In fact, let me share a personal experience from this conference. During the poster presentation, there was this one scientist that came up. We got to talking. I was presenting a poster to him, and he's like, and I guess it would be better if I gave a background on my research, but I'll save that for another video. So subscribe and like, comment, all that stuff. So I'm talking to the scientist, and he's an established person, and he's done similar stuff that I'm currently working on, which was a big bless because what I'm working on, I have no idea what it like. I have a lot of. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that out loud. I know what I'm doing for the most part, but I have to learn a lot of things because I don't know those things. Like I only recently got into computer science stuff like AI and machine learning. I've never done that before in my life, so I have to teach myself the concepts. I have to teach myself the coding techniques that I need to use to develop the project that I want to develop and model the stuff that I want to model. And this guy has done similar stuff before, so we got to talking. He's giving me advice, and I'm over here taking mental notes like, okay, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to read next. So that connection really started off as work related and science related, but in 2 days later, same conference. This was on Wednesday, and then on Friday we spoke again because he gave an oral talk, and I was like, great talk and whatnot, and we were discussing, and then we also delved into some personal territory, and I was just asking about his experiences. Some of his past experiences. I'm not getting too specific here because I don't know like how comfortable the other person might be sharing this. But I didn't say any names, so I guess I'm fine. But he was telling me about his cultural exposure and experiences in the past, and we got to talking, and it was just, man, he was just a down to earth person, and I work aligned, and he was like, if you ever need any help, let me know. If you have any questions, definitely reach out. So I think this was one of the like this was huge because I just connected with someone who not only has alignment with my work, but is also someone who's a great person, and that's like the best combination, bro. Like, who I have no complaints. Like, this is one of my best experiences that I can draw upon from the conference. But then there's also a lot of other folks that I met who do like very diverse things, which is really cool for me because I'm someone who likes to make connections, bro. Like, I'm over here. Because the thing is, science is fun and all, and what I'm doing is space exploration things is also fun, but really at heart, I'm a problem solver. I like identifying issues, and I'm like, all right, like, how can we work on this? How can we make this better? How can we solve these things? And I know there's gonna come a time where I'll be working on some big issues in the world, and yeah, all I was trying to drive was that I'm a problem solver, and in that sense, it is really great for me to learn about the diverse fields as well because it gives me insight into what the other field is like, and perhaps I can be that person who can bridge and make certain connections that other folks might not be able to see. I'm also in a very unique position because I feel like most people come into the sciences, realize it's not a lot of money, and then go into industry. But like I did the opposite, where I went into industry, worked, made good money, then decided to take a fat pay cut so I could continue my education and do something that I was more passionate about. So I do think I share that. I have that unique perspective to bring as well. But yeah, back to the conferences stuff. So right, there's the general structure, there's talks, there's poster presentations, and most importantly, or one of the more important things, there's breaks for coffee and beverages and all those things, which you should be using, or which I should also be using more in the future to network and meet people. And that's honestly one of the biggest things to get out of a conference is to meet new people. And as long as you do that, uh, no matter how your presentations go and all, like I think that's a very successful, highly successful conference. And I also met a few other folks, some my age, who are applying to grad school next year. So we got to talking and such. Yeah, I don't even know what else to cover. The general format, breaks, research work. Oh, and one of the unique aspects is also that you have folks from NASA headquarters, so people who are in contact with federal folks, but also like they control the funding allocation and all those things. So they had some presentations on some of the transparency of how things are going to change with the submission of proposals and stuff, and funding allocation, which is big in academia because that's your major source of income for projects, really. Like, you write proposals, you submit them for certain grants, and you either receive them or you don't, but that's really a big part of being a PI or a principal investigator, like running a lab. Like, that's a big part. Though I have to say, I don't know if I'm going to end up in academia, but we shall see. Because I right now I can envision that for myself. But life is unpredictable, man. Life is unpredictable. It can take you in different places, and I'm pretty open to different possibilities in life. Never know where I'm gonna end up. So yeah, that's my experience was great at the conference, and then having the group of people from NASA headquarters also bridges the gap between industry and scientists, which a lot of the times there is disconnect. It's just how it is, and having a platform for both sides to be present at the same time and share input and have an open discussion about how to advance research in a more streamlined way that will help the community. It's win-win, or it's somewhat of it's a step in the right direction. How long have 16 minutes into the video. Oh my god. Yeah, let's wrap this up. So yeah, overall experience with the conference: network with people, make sure you're meeting new people, you're not just sticking around with the group that you went with. And in preparation, make sure you're looking at the talks that are going to be there, figure out which are the interesting ones that you want to go to, and then go to them. And yeah, I think those are the very important things that I could have mentioned. If there's specific questions about talks or poster presentations, I haven't done a long form oral talk yet, but it's because I haven't had a significant enough project just yet. But I have done a lightning talk before, and where we pre-recorded our presentations, and then we presented a 3-minute talk during the conference. And then I've also done a couple of poster presentations. So if you have any questions or anything, let me know in the comments below. And I don't know what else to wrap up. Oh, real quick, dress code. Depends on the conference, I would say, but business casual is usually a fine way to go. You can't go wrong with that. If you're wearing a tie, maybe a little too much. So yeah, that's all I can say. But use your best judgment. I think business casual is perfectly fine. And yeah, I'll wrap the video up there. That was a long session. Anyways, if you made it this far into the video, I appreciate you so much, and I hope you got something out of it. And I will catch you all in the next video.